All right, good morning. Here we go. We got our first our explore question to start off. Take a second to read that. All right. Think about it. There's a conversion that you're going to need at the bottom of the page there. Okay. So take a second to look that over. Go ahead. All right. So it says if a family goes over, they're charged 2.5 cents per megabyte. Last month, a family used 10.5 gigabytes of data. Would they have been better off going with the 12 gigabyte plan or at $110 a month? So, first of all, because they went 0.5 over, there's a reason I gave you this conversion. If 1 gigabyte is 1,024, then if I just do that divided by 2 to get how many megabytes that is, okay, that's going to be 512. Oops. 512 megabytes, but now they're saying I'm being, whoops. That's not me. What was I going to say? So if it's 512 at 2.5 cents per megabyte, okay, then I want to figure out how much additional I had to pay on top of that 100 a month or $100 a month. So I'm going to take 512 and multiply it by 2.5 and get, what did I get? Hold on, let me find that. Yep. I confused myself for a second there. So I want to think about this in terms of dollars. All right. I could have done 2.5, then I would have to divide. But I'm going to go, so it's times $0.025. Okay, that's what 2.5 cents is. How did I get that? I could just do divide. Take 2.5 cents and divide it by 100. Okay. So if I do 512 times $0.025, I get $12.80. So plus the 100 that I already owed right here, that's 112.80. Well, would I have been better off going with the 12 gigabyte plan per month? Yes, I would have been. Why? Because I would have saved myself $2 extra. Okay. So I guess you would just say yes. Yes. All right. So today's section is all about conversions. Okay, so we're converting. Do you know where or how to convert a fact when you need one? How do you decide whether to multiply or divide when converting units? So the book, honestly, the examples that it gave, the solutions to the examples were really confusing. Okay, on how they chose to explain this. I don't think they did a very good job of it, personally. So I'm going to show you kind of my method of doing things. I think it's a little bit easier. Okay. Here are some conversions you're going to need. I also include this on today's folder, or in today's folder. Okay. This is also can be found on page 95 in your textbook. Okay. There's a big table up at the top. I just wrote them out for you and put them in a picture as well. Okay. We will never ever ask you to memorize all these. That would be unrealistic. All right, so John has decided to run a 10K. Wow. So we want to convert that to miles. All right, so I want to think about my conversions here. Okay. If I think about my conversions, I look back at my table. I'm looking for miles. Here's a miles. 1 kilometer is 0.62 miles. Okay, so that's going to help me out there. All right. How would I do this? So I'm going to start. 10K means 10 kilometers. Whenever you see that, that's what that is referring to. So I'm starting with 10 kilometers. I want to convert my units to miles. I know that 1 kilometer is 0.62 miles. So how I like to think about it is this is kind of going back to chemistry, all right, where I have 1 kilometer and 0.62 miles. My goal is to cancel out the units that I have to get the units that I want. So because kilometers are the top and the bottom like this, I can quote unquote cancel those out. Because if you think about it, if we multiply it straight across the top, this would be kilometers times miles over kilometers. And then kilometers would just drop out and I'd be left over with miles. So that's really what we're doing. Okay. So we're taking, what is that? 10 times 0.62. All right, and I'm getting, and what did I get? 6.2 miles. So if you're saying, if you know someone that's running a 10K, they're really running 6.2 miles. Hey, how about that? That's pretty sick. That's pretty neat. Wow. Let's keep going. We're having fun. Okay. So this is just how it works. Again, I think some of this can be kind of confusing. So I'm gonna go with my method because you may have seen it used in chemistry, all right, in your previous classes, or maybe seen it in Algebra 1 a number of years ago, depending on where and when you took that class. Okay. So let's try this again. Let's try another one. Convert 300 millimeters to meters. So I'm starting with millimeters, so I got 300 millimeters. I know that millimeters has to be down here. Okay, so if I look at my conversions, whoops, there it is. All right, so I'm starting with millimeters and I want meters. Well, unfortunately, there isn't a conversion from millimeters straight to meters. In fact, I don't even have millimeters on here, so that's probably not going to be helpful. All right, hold on. All right, so I got the table from your actual book itself. That's probably better. So anyway, so I'm starting with millimeters and I want to get to meters. All right, so I find millimeters on my chart here. I notice that there's not a direct line or a direct millimeters to meters, but I notice there's a connector. If I go from millimeters to centimeters, centimeters can go to meters. All right, so we have to do a double conversion. So I want to go, if I saw that correctly, 10 millimeters is 1 centimeter. So I got 10 millimeters for 1 centimeter. Millimeters cancel out. So now I'm in centimeters. I want to get to meters. And I know that there are 100 centimeters per 1 meter. So I'm going to convert that one more time. 100 centimeters in 1 meter. So my centimeters cancel. And I'm left over with meters, which is what I want. So I'm going to multiply straight across the top. 300 times 300. And I'm just, like this part, 300 times 1 times 1. And I'm going to multiply straight across the bottom, 10 times 100. All right, I'm showing that so you know, okay, what am I going to do? What math am I going to do in my calculator? Obviously, this is still going to be 300 on the top. All right, anything times 1 is just itself, okay? 10 times 100 I know is 1,000. The reason I'm showing this step is so you understand where or how I'm going to multiply, how I'm going to divide certain things. Okay. 300 divided by 1,000. Where did this example come from? Oh, example 2. Yeah. And I got 0.3 meters. That's what I got. That's what the book got. I was just making sure our answers were the same. All right. What I want you to do, okay, is try this first one. Convert 4650 milliliters to liters. All right, go ahead, pause the video, give it a shot. All right, take a look here. It was a one-stepper for us, which is nice. 4650 milliliters. I want milliliters to be on the bottom here, so I have 1,000 milliliters for 1 liter. Okay, so then I end up dividing 4650 by 1,000 and get 4.65 liters. All right, let's try the next one here. We're going to convert from 5 kilograms to grams and grams to milligrams. Okay, so why don't you give that a shot? I believe, yes, there is that conversion on this page for us. Go ahead, pause the video, try that one. All right, let's take a look here. I went 5 kilograms, so 1 kilogram for 1,000 grams. And then I went from grams to milligrams. So 1 gram gives me 1,000 milligrams. My units, they canceled. I was left over with my milligrams. And this one I'm multiplying straight across the top, 5 times 1,000 times 1,000 to get 5 million milligrams. Okay, let's see, how many more do we have? Oh, the last page. All right, so I'm gonna help you with this one. It says convert 5 milligrams an hour to milligrams per day, and then grams per day. So, excuse me. So this one's a little bit different because we are dealing with 2 units. We're doing it with a rate here now. All right, so I have 5 500 milligrams per 1 hour. All right. So I want to convert that to milligrams per day. So what I'm going to have to do here is convert my hours into days. Okay. Hours into days. Right. How am I going to do that? Well, how many hours are there in one day? 24 hours in one day. Now, why am I putting the 24 on top? I'm putting the 24 on top because my hours are on the bottom. In order to eliminate a unit, okay, one needs to be on the top and one needs to be on the bottom. If I already have one on the bottom, that means my next one must come on the top. Okay. Next, all right, so now I have milligrams per 1 day, and now I want to go from grams. Now I want to go from milligrams to grams. I want grams per day, not milligrams per day. Well, luckily for us, we have part of that done, right? We have the days done, but now we need to convert the milligrams to grams. Okay. How would I do that? Well, first of all, I have to decide where do I need my milligrams to go? Meaning, how am I going to convert this? Like in this one, I have the hours on top. Since the milligrams are on top, I'm going to put the milligrams on bottom, and then per 1 gram. I also know this is true because I want grams per day. So that means I have to have the day on the bottom and the grams on the top when I end. All right. The multiplication here is a little bit different. I'm going to do this on the next page. But the multiplication here is a little bit different. I multiply straight across the top, 500 times 24, and multiply straight across the bottom, or times 1 as well, I guess. 1 times 1 times 1,000. 500 times 24, I get 12,000. Divided by 1,000 is just 12, right? 12, right? Yeah, 12, right? 12. Sorry, I forgot to write that down. 12 grams per day. And I ended here, grams per day. They did not cancel out. That's how I know. All right. Here we go. Last one. Convert 2.5 miles to yards by changing miles to feet and feet to yards. So 2.5 miles to yards. So 2.5 miles. It said to go from miles to feet and then feet to yards. Well, how many feet are in 1 mile? First question we've got to ask ourselves. Look at our conversion, or maybe we already know this. There's 5,280 feet per 1 mile, and there's 1 yard. 3 feet equals a yard. Okay, I don't know how many are golfers out there, but that's it's measured in yards. I have miles on the top here. That means I need miles out here to cancel out. I have 5,280 feet. Miles cancel. I got the feet portion. Now it says to go from feet to yards. I have to have 3 feet per 1 yard. Feet cancel, and I'm left over with yards, which is what we wanted. Now we want to think about how am I going to multiply. I'm going to take that 2.5 and multiply it by 5,280 and put that over 3. 2.5 times 5,280, enter, divided by 3, enter. I got 4,400 yards. All right, that is the end of our lesson for today. What did we learn? We learned how to convert units, converting units by multiplying or dividing. All right, let me know if you have any questions.